there. And if you've ever been to Kurukshetra at this time of the year in January, when he was there, it's very cold. And he was just laying in the battlefield. But he would not die until he rendered the highest service to Krishna in his life. He was just waiting. Such surrender and such patience. So after the battle was complete, and Bhishma saw practically everyone in the Kuru and Pandava army, who were all, he loved everyone actually. He saw them all dead. At that time, Yudhisthira, he was feeling guilty. He was thinking, it's all my fault. Because of my desire to be king, everyone had to die. And Krishna likes to glorify, just like Krishna won the battle of Kurukshetra through Arjuna. He didn't fight. Similarly, he wanted to glorify the greatness of Bhishma forever. Krishna's Leela, he did not pacify Yudhisthira. He said, let us go to Kurukshetra and meet with Bhishma. So now Yudhisthira and the Pandavas, they're not rejoicing like in a tournament of Indian cricketers. If they win, the whole of India is celebrating. Yes? But at the end of Battle of Kurukshetra, nobody celebrated. Everyone was miserable because they won the war, but they lost almost everybody they loved in the process. And Yudhisthira was not happy. He was feeling guilty. So Krishna brought them all to Kurukshetra. And all the Pandavas and Krishna and Arjuna were on a chariot. They all came to where Bhishma was laying down. And Yudhisthira, Maharaj, Bhima, Nakula, Sahadev, and then Krishna and Arjuna, they bowed down to Bhishma. And here, Bhishma begins to speak. Oh, what terrible sufferings and what terrible injustices you good souls suffer for being the sons of religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under those tribulations, yet you were protected by the Brahmins, God, and religion. Bhishma continues in tomorrow's verse. As far as my daughter-in-law is concerned, upon the great General Pandu's death, she became a widow with many children, and therefore she suffered greatly. And when you were grown up, she suffered a great deal also because of your actions. In my opinion, this is all due to inevitable time, under whose control everyone in every planet is carried, just as the clouds are carried by the wind. Oh, how wonderful is the influence of inevitable time. It is irreversible. Otherwise, how can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhisthira, the son of the demigod controlling religion? Bhima, the great fighter with a club, the great bowman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gandiva, and above all, the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas. O King, no one can know the plan of the Lord Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered. O best among the descendants of Bharat, I maintain therefore, please listen carefully. O best of the descendants of Bharat, Yudhisthira, I maintain therefore that all this is within the plan of the Lord. And accepting the inconceivable plan of the Lord, you must follow it. You are now the appointed administrative head, and my Lord, you should now take care of your subjects who are now rendered helpless. In these beautiful verses and those that follow, Bhishma the Mahajan, who is about to spend chapters of Mahabharat describing practically every subject to Yudhisthira Maharaj. He's so learned. Bhishma was taught fighting by Parasuram. He was taught Vedic wisdom by Brihaspati. He was the most qualified person possible. But as he's laying there, he's describing to the world that no one can understand the plan of Krishna. But we know the plan of Krishna for the devotee is always perfect. Why the Pandavas and Yudhisthira had to suffer so much? Why Kunti had to suffer so much? He describes the answer is inevitable time. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna tells time I am. Within this world, material existence, Krishna in the form of time is all powerful and all devouring. Whoever we are, old age, disease, death, suffering, irreversible, it's not that the Pandavas had bad karma. We see in this world even great sages and saints, they fight, they have diseases, so many difficulties. It's not always because of karma, it's the nature of time. That even such great souls within this world have to go through so much. When we think of Srila Prabhupada's life, Anjaladuta having heart attacks, having seasickness. When he was in New York, he had stroke. And in his last days, Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj, actually that was another Sangam. Here at Prayag, Srila Prabhupada and Bhakti Charu Maharaj first met in 1970, during Kumbh Mela in 1977. Such nectar came out of that sangam. But it's the nature of time. Why Prahlad had to go through what he did, and Dhruva had to go through it. In this world, it's very inconceivable to understand the plan of the Lord and how it manifests through the agency of time. But one thing Bhishma is telling us that we can know for certain. We may not understand visibly how it's happening or why in our own life or in others, but if we're taking shelter of Krishna and Krishna's devotees and the path of Dharma or Bhakti, then we can know 100% for sure that Krishna is there to protect us. How he's protecting may be inconceivable. Actually, Srila Prabhupada at Prayag Pharmacy and his household life, Srila Prabhupada describes how everything was taken away from him. And even his people who he treated like his own children, his employees, some of them, they betrayed him and cheated him. Yasya Hanumanagni Nami Harishyeta Dhanamshanai. He remembered this verse. Because literally, for Srila Prabhupada, everything was taken away from him. It was quite inconceivable. And when he finally went to New York after all of these, he was trying to get a temple in the Upper West Side. And he spent months trying to get this temple. So many letters he was writing to India. He was all alone in New York. And somehow or other, it was taken away from him. And Srila Prabhupada writes in his diary, he was mortified, which means, mortified means deep sorrow. In his service to his Guru Maharaj. But Srila Prabhupada explained when Krishna, he quotes actually when Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Krishna, why is all these things happening to me? Krishna said, when I bestow my highest mercy, I take everything away. That's inconceivable. But Krishna is inconceivable. Therefore, we know this for sure. Even while the Pandavas were exiled and running for their life, and they were hiding, they had to hide in disguise for a year. Arjuna played the role of a eunuch. He was teaching dancing to a girl. Here's the greatest warrior on earth. And in order to disguise himself, he was teaching dancing to a young girl. So, Bhishma's telling that even at that time, we should know for sure that Krishna is always protecting his devotees. Whether Krishna is giving everything, in the end he gave Yudhishthira everything, the whole kingdom. In the interim, he took everything away. But there was no difference. This we learned from Bhishma. Whether Yudhisthira and the Pandavas were in the stage of nothing or everything, they were always completely under the protection of Krishna. And in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the coming chapters, actually it was in the previous chapter, Kunti, after Yudhisthira Maharaj was coronated as the king, when Krishna was about to leave for Dwarka, Kunti was crying to him and offering her prayers. When all the calamities were coming upon me and my children, we had no other shelter than you. Now that you're leaving, everything is nice. We might forget you. Let the calamities come. She was. So when a devotee is taking shelter of Krishna, and Srila Prabhupada describes this in purport, when a devotee is sincerely and honestly trying to follow the instructions of Krishna and the spiritual masters, then that devotee has the shelter of Krishna. And whatever eternal, inconceivable time in this world may manifest, may be honor or dishonor, pleasure or pain, health or disease, birth or death, victory or defeat. Those things are inconceivable. But one thing is for certain. Krishna always gives shelter to those who turn to him with sincere devotion. Krishna gives his promise, if you will come to me. So Bhishma is describing this timeless message about time. And in today's world, so many divisions, so many confusions, so much conflict. So many bewildering things. Srila Prabhupada translated Maya as that which is not. And in this age of Kali Yuga, it's really hard to understand what's true and what's not true. What is and what isn't. And even devotees have to get caught up in eternal times, conflicting nature and Kali Yuga of quarrel and hypocrisy. To take shelter of Krishna means to take shelter of the higher principle. Beyond all the reasons people in this world are fighting. Beyond all the reasons in this world that people are quarreling. Beyond all the reasons in this material world why people are being distracted by temptations and fears. The higher principle is Krishna is our only shelter. Daivi Yeshu Gunamayi Mama Maya Durati. And that is the Sankirtan movement that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu established here at Swami at Prayag. That the only real benediction we have in life is we know for sure if we take shelter of Krishna, Krishna will save us. Krishna is with us. And he gives us shelter in the chanting of his holy names. Hare Krishna, Hare how to please Krishna by truly taking shelter of these holy names. In the coming verses, Bhishma, after spending long time instructing Yudhisthira Maharaj in the presence of Krishna, he saw the sun entering into the northern direction. And he understood this is an auspicious time to die. So he completely fixed his full absorption on the beautiful form of Krishna and offered wonderful prayers of surrender to Krishna. And Krishna reciprocated by manifesting his supreme form in the way that Bhishma personally worshipped him. And with tears of ecstatic love, gazing at the beautiful supreme form of Lord Krishna, Bhishma happily left this world to go back home, back to God. Why did he do it that way? Why did Bhishma choose to be laying there in that bed of arrows for all that time? Because he wanted to show, even though he was on the wrong side, even though he was a powerful warrior on earth who had been defeated, everything, ultimately, Krishna was his only shelter. And it's described after Bhishma left, the death of the greatest hero on earth for so many generations. The only thing anyone could think about was how Krishna bestowed mercy upon him. He surrendered to Krishna and Krishna manifested himself. And it's described when all the sages and the rishis and the Pandavas and everyone were leaving that battlefield after Bhishma left this world and after the last rites were performed, they were all simply glorifying and remembering the mercy of Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Interesting. And Jagannath Puri. Whenever Rupa Goswami or Sanatana Goswami came there to visit Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they always stayed at the Siddha Bakula, which was the bhajan kutir of Haridas Thakur. How much they honored and respected Haridas Thakur. we read about Rupa Goswami and Sanatana Goswami's eternal identity as Rupa Manjari and Lavanga Manjari in the spiritual world of Goloka, who have descended to this world. Still, how much they honored and respected and worshipped Haridas Thakur, whose whole life was chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And when Haridas Thakur wanted to leave this world, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he told him that the only reason I'm living is to have association with you. And Haridas Thakur, he said, I am insignificant among all your devotees. But by his will, Lord Chaitanya came to the Siddha Bakula, and all the devotees were chanting. And Haridas took the dust of the feet of every devotee on his head, and he placed the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu over his heart and pressed them. And with his mouth he was chanting Shri Krishna Chaitanya. And his eyes were gazing upon the beautiful golden moon-like face of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And at that moment, by his own sweet will and by the mercy of Lord Chaitanya, he left his body. And Kaviraj Goswami describes that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and all the devotees, when they saw this most supremely perfect departure of Haridas Thakur, they all remembered the same thing. Krishna's mercy upon Bhishma. Srila Prabhupada has given us the Hare Krishna mantra, the same mantra that Haridas Thakur was chanting constantly. The same mantra that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu extracted from all the Vedic literatures as the Maha Mantra. Let that be our shelter. Let those who are taking shelter of chanting the holy names of the Lord be our shelter. Would you like to speak something, Maharaj?
One question. Sound. Volume. Hare Ram. The first sangam is
Excuse me.
Third is Yoga. Fourth is Gopal and Bhakti Maharaj, and fifth Swami.
You are merciful. Thank you.
Can I ask what? Maharaj, Swami is senior to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So before Chaitanya appearance, what mantra he used to chant? Hare Krishna Mahamantra or other mantra? Swami senior to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So before Chaitanya Mahaprabhu inaugurated Sankirtan movement, what mantra they were chanting?
Hare Krishna Mahamantra is given to us in the Kali Santarana Upanishad. So it is not that Lord Chaitanya invented that mantra. That has always been the Mahamantra. And it has always been chanted. With Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he gave special, out of his supreme causeless mercy of Krishna in the mood of Sri Radha, is especially emphasized that mantra. Although Nam Namakari Bahuda Nivashama, all the names of the supreme absolute truth are not different than the Lord. Krishna, Govinda, Hari, and so many names. But still this Mahamantra is special in this age of Kali Yuga. And I remember hearing a devotee ask Srila Prabhupada, if Krishna is non-different than all his names, why do we chant this Hare Krishna mantra? And Srila Prabhupada said, because that's what Lord Chaitanya told us to do. So Advaita and Haridas, what mantra they were chanting, I don't have any shastric evidence to tell you, but they were chanting the holy names of Krishna. Does that answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
Advaitacharya Prabhu, you are the great Advaitacharya Prabhu was actually the temple president here at Prayag for 12 years. So we are all here in a very great debt to you.
Like good fortune that I got association of Maharaj in this country.
Thank you. His Holiness Jai Patak Swami Maharaj so mercifully sent you here to establish this Prayagraj, ISKCON. Thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Shri Shri Radha Veni Madhava ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. We really thank Maharaj so much. We can see Maharaj's health is not in the best shape. Maharaj mercifully spent so much time. And Maharaj talking about his sangams. And I was just thinking actually that in that way Maharaj is revealing to us. A spiritual master, that's what he does. Chakshudan Diva So actually, and in that way he inspires the prema bhakti in our hearts. So Maharaj, I really thank you on behalf of all the devotees. And Maharaj, these devotees, they are mainly from Prayagraj and Varanasi. How many devotees have come from Varanasi? So Varanasi, Bhaduri, nearby places. And some devotees have come from Pune, Mumbai, of course Chowpatty. And there are devotees from London, Soho Street and Western Manor. There are devotees from several other places. We are very happy to have all the devotees. There are devotees serving in the Kumbh. So they are not here, they are in the kitchens with some of the local devotees. So we thank all the devotees. And I want to share with all the devotees that I saw in the first day when Maharaj arrived, like earlier before going to the camp. So when Maharaj saw all the loving devotees enthusiastically chanting, dancing, and then Maharaj went to the room and saw Yamuna from balcony, and then Maharaj told that, I'll come back from the camp. So I was just sharing with Maharaj in the car that Maharaj, actually all the credits and glories to you, because you taught me through your Vani and through the example of so many disciples of yours these eternal principles and values, because of which we are able to today do some little assistance to our seniors here. There was like Guru Prasad Maharaj, there was like Gopal Krishna Maharaj, and there was Devanand Prabhu, and there was Bhakti Maharaj, yes, Kamal Bachchan Prabhu, and all the seniors. And we have received Maharaj so much love from Vijay Krishna Prabhu, Vijay Doran Prabhu, who visits very frequently, and Vijay Radhesham Prabhu, who comes frequently, and as well as devotees Guru Pune. So we are actually in every way related to you for all these things, Maharaj. And Maharaj, I also wanted to share with you that Maharaj, there is Yamuna and there is Kadamba tree also. Last time we could not show it, but in the evening during Yamuna, somehow the Lord had arranged this Kadamba tree right there. So devotees say, Maharaj always says, and other who says, Yamuna Kurina Kadamba Dana. And Maharaj, there are 50 cows also. Here we had a small goshala, but place was very less for them. So on the other end of the city, we have made up another goshala, which is 2 place for them. So milk comes separately for feeding. Maharaj loves cows, devotees, deities, and Yamuna. Maharaj told about Prayag in GV to us that I used to stay there in Prayag in 1971, and Maharaj told that Rupa Swami actually wrote those books under at Theravada area in Vrindavan, and he received instruction from Mahaprabhu in Prayag. So he said this Theravada is very special connection between Prayag and Vrindavan. In fact, he was telling we should make a memorial of Prayagraj in Theravada in GV. So I was sharing with Maharaj that this Kadamba is also here.
We're just trying to get you to spend more time at GEV.
Is always Radhanath Maharaj ki, Gopal ki.